Mr. Bronson, I thought we had come to an agreement about this.
I told you I'd think about it. I have. The answer is no.
Aren't you being pretty high-handed about this? Mr. Furnace here, I believe, has just as much knowledge about mines as you have. He says he's found plenty of silver in the Thunderhead.
And I say if there's any silver in the Thunderhead, it was hauled in from somewhere else. And that makes the whole deal crooked. Gentlemen, the answer is still no.
Mr. Bronson, you're making a sad mistake.
He's on to us, Jack. He just blew the whistle on the whole deal.
Oh, did he? Gordon?
Jack. Do we have to do it this way?
Do you want Bronson talking all over town? Horton, you know what you have to do.
That's what I'm paid for.
Horton. Be careful.
Sure. Ain't I always?
Let's get out of here. Take it easy. Get his money. I want this to look like a robbery. Come on.
Never at the bottom of a depression like this. This is the worst I've ever seen.
Oz?
Hi, Roy. Whatever it was, I didn't do it.
You sure look guilty to me. Ben?
Roy, come on in, sit down, have a cup of coffee.
No, thanks.
Well, what's on your mind?
Did you see Jim Bronson yesterday afternoon?
Yeah, I had a long talk with Jim.
I got some bad news, Ben. Jim's dead.
Jim's?
He was knifed last night, right outside his office. Looked to me like robbery.
Roy, that whole Thunderhead, the strike. There's no strike there. The whole thing's a phony. It's a swindle. Jim told me that Furnace and Cunningham offered him $10,000 to say there was silver down at the Thunderhead. There's no silver there. He told me so himself. He was waiting for them to come over so he could tell me he wanted no part of the deal.
Ben, that's a pretty serious accusation. You got any more than that to go on?
Well, how much more do you need to go on?
Well, Ben, ever since the mine started closing down, there hasn't been a week go by but what, at least 2 men have been killed and robbed by road agents.
Sure, on the divide or down on D Street, but not right downtown in an office building. Roy, I'll bet you Furnace and Cunningham had him killed in order to shut him up.
Just to protect a phony silver promotion?
Yes, just to protect a phony silver promotion.
Ben, I don't know what's been going on down at Thunderhead, but I'm sure it's going to help Virginia City. Now, what you have is just an unproven story that you say was told to you by a dead man. I don't feel like going out and telling them miners to give up hope and to sit back and start starving to death.
They're going to start starving to death when the news comes out that the whole thing's a phony. What are you trying to do, make an excuse for murder?
Of course I'm not, and you know it. I'll investigate it, but until I got a lot more to go on, I'm going to keep still about it.
Oh, are you sure about what you said?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, Roy will look into it.
I'm going to look into it, too.
Listen, I think you'll let the sheriff take care of it.
I want to talk Jim into turning down the deal. That makes it my responsibility.
to 23 with no sellers. 23!
Burn, I don't blame Sheriff Coffey for not wanting to get in front of that crowd.
Yeah, well, if Pa thinks it's true, he's gonna have to sooner or later.
Yeah, just soon they calm down a little bit first. Trample a man to death if they tried to spoil their fun now.
Hey, you know what I was thinking? You know, swindler, no swindle, a man ought to put some money in that stock, you know what?
Joe, you just sit right down. Stay right here just like Pa told us. Drink your beer.
Yes, sir, gentlemen, as I was saying, I'm a very careful man. If I didn't believe Frank Furness' theory about there being one continuing vein of silver somewhere in the lode, I wouldn't have put 5 cents into the Thunderhead. But now I'm glad I trusted him. And, gentlemen, I'll tell you something. If you can find some Thunderhead stock, buy it. Buy it while you can still afford it. How do you say we have something to eat?
Let's make out with the sheriff, Bob.
Well, I doubt if there's a more honest man alive than Roy Coffey, but he just won't budge until he has more evidence.
He's got your word, ain't he, Paul?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Roy believes me, but he claims it isn't enough. I'm afraid he's right. It isn't enough.
I'll get you a barrel.
No. Take a sip of yours. What are you doing?
Oh, I was just figuring. I don't mean to be disrespectful, Pa, but swindler, no swindle. I think a fellow ought to pick up a couple of shares of that stock.
Thunderhead's up $80 a share. Yay!
Hey, you see what I mean? Hey, $80 a share, Pa. $80 a share. Now, I got some money of my own.
Paul, I think he might be right. I got a couple of dollars.
Now, listen to me, both of you. Keep out of the market. Unless you want to be buried in worthless paper. $80 a share.
Yes, sir.
Come on, I'll buy you a dinner.
Golden curry in it.
Well, Mr. Cartwright, I've been wanting to talk to you.
Gentlemen, I'm listening.
You've heard what's happening in the Thunderhead.
I've heard a lot of wild rumors.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Isn't that right, Frank?
I've been in this business a long time. I know silver when I see it.
Mr. Cartwright, I understand you own quite a bit of stock in the Golden Curry.
I suppose I do.
That's right. I was just going to advise you to hang on to it. If the deal I'm working on goes through, you may be able to trade it for some Thunderhead stock.
Mr. Cunningham, I don't believe there's a single solitary ounce of silver in the Thunderhead.
Mr. Cartwright, I think you'll admit that Mr. Jock McPherson of the Golden Curry knows a little bit about mining, too. You have enough respect for him to buy some stock in his mine.
What's Jock McPherson got to do with this?
Mr. McPherson thinks we have silver. In fact, he feels so strongly about it, he's considering merging the Golden Curry with the Thunderhead.
I don't believe a word of that.
Why don't you ask Jock McPherson?
I'll do that.
That's quite a story, Cartwright. And you think it comes out fraud, eh?
I don't know of anything else you can call it.
And I don't know, Ben. 9/10 of Virginia City's labor force is hanging out on street corners. Our economy's coming to a standstill. Now, if there's one chance in 100 that it's not fraud and that we can break out of our depression, I'm willing to take it and put good money behind it.
You knew Jim Bronson. Now, Bronson knew the Thunderhead like the back of his own hand. He told me there wasn't an ounce of silver in it anywhere.
I'm no fool. I've demanded proof. And Cunningham said he'd give it to me tomorrow morning at the Thunderhead shaft. Well, why don't you come out, too?
All right. I will, Jock. I will. I'll see you in the morning. Come on.